welcome to the Clock and Talk, an Arsenal podcast. You can get us at _talk on Twitter. I'm your host, and you can get me at Goonatez. We've had an absolute cunt of a start here today with Castbox FM has fucked us up. Now Skype was fucking me up. So, look, we'll try and get a fucking podcast out. That's all I can say, and I'll have to work on this shit during the week. But let's get into it because it is late over there in the UK. Tony, how are you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good. And when you say it was fucking us up, I mean, it was all you. Your Castbox didn't work. Your recording didn't work. I'm good. I'm fine. Like this, nothing was fucking me up. I was sitting here playing Candy Crush, listening to you swearing at your computer.
Nice cunt. And Addy, how are you, buddy?
Yeah, no, I'm doing all right. Good to hear you guys again. Speak to you guys again. But yeah, I hope everyone's doing well as well.
Yeah, no, it's good, man. It's good to have you on board. Let's get into it. Have a look. It's been a kind of a week for Arsenal. Smashed against City, and then fucked over with Brighton. Two games we'll look at, Tony. Look, we won't go on because now we're a weekly show, and it's we've done the City game. It's done and dusted. Everyone's licked their wounds and moved on. Look for Brighton. Forward to Brighton, but Brighton wasn't so good either. But Tony, we will touch on City, mate.
Yeah, I mean, the main take out of the game, I guess most people expected us to lose. But obviously, Pablo Mari getting injured, and I think that's 3 months they've said today that he's going to be out. And then Xhaka going off inside, I think it was the first 2 minutes, or it was definitely the first 5 minutes. And it's a difficult one because I thought we played very, very badly. We was very naive. I thought I thought the team was picked to lose without getting embarrassed. And you could maybe argue we'd done that. It's probably a bit borderline, whether you would class it as embarrassing or not. But it's in his defence, in Arteta's defence, he can say that it was 0-0 at 20 minutes, and then I lost 2 players who were key to my game plan. And he can say he thought it would have panned out completely differently with them players. So who knows? I wasn't impressed with the lineup, but there is always going to be a sort of asterisk by it when you're talking about did his game plan work, in that we don't know what it was. He obviously had the 2 injuries I've mentioned. We had a sending off in the 46th minute or 47th minute, which, I mean, no manager can prepare for that. So it was one of them games I expected to lose. It was a bit annoying in the way it happened, but we move on.
Addy, your thoughts on the City game, mate?
Yeah, just to echo what Tony was saying, I think that he went there not to win the game yet, but just not to get beaten. I don't think we actually ever thought to ourselves, oh, you know what, maybe we could snatch a victory or something. And it's a shame because obviously this is a City side that haven't been to the best of their abilities at the start of this season. They haven't been to the best of their abilities, and to be fair, because of the lockdown, you've had majority of your injured players back, barring a few. Everyone's starting from the same starting point as well, where we didn't really have a proper preseason, and you knew players were going to be tired and everything. So I was thinking in my head, I didn't think we was going to win it. So in my head, I was thinking, you know what, Arteta, this is a free hit. Actually see what you can do. But for me, I think he chickened out. He actually could have just said, cool, this is how I actually want to play. This is the team I want to use. Let's see how far we are away from Man City, even though we know we're pretty far. But even just implementing his style for I feel he chickened out. Obviously, again, Pablo Mari injury and injury.
That was a shame to see Pablo go off. I really wanted to see him do a bit more and get to know him a little bit too. So yeah, that was a massive shame. I cut. Sorry to cut you off there, but mate,
no, that's all right. That's all right.
I took out of it that it was, some would say, a weaker team selection. For me, Granite and Guendouzi just do not work together on the same team. But David Luiz, we have to touch on it, Tony, and he went off in a red card. One of the goals was his fault. Two of the goals you could basically say was his fault. So it was a fuck me moment by David Luiz.
Look, yeah, he two of the goals were his fault, and he was only on the pitch for about 25 minutes, which is obviously grim reading. I do think I think most people have gone massively over the top. The worst player ever. I never want to see him play for us again. Blah, blah, blah. He's been shit in every game. Like all this stuff you keep seeing, I was seeing non-stop on Twitter. Yeah, he was terrible. I can't defend. I'm not trying to say he was great, but I just think people have gone so over the top.
Well, pissed off. And people have come out pissed off. And I said it in their WhatsApp chat the other day and a mate of mine actually said, maybe fans' expectations are a little bit higher of this team than what we should be. But hey, we love Arsenal. What can I say? So of course our expectations are going to be high. But a mate of mine listened to this podcast after the City game and after the Brighton game, not this one, the one we did before the City game. And he said, it's funny how you listen back to something on your predictions and then now you're like, the expectations aren't that high. And I'm like, well, went into City pretty confident. Like, we were both on par. We were both didn't know what our pre-season, no pre-season for both teams. Nobody was training. It was an unknown fucking territory. Yeah. So I did think a little bit, I think we underperformed, but David Luiz cost us the 2 goals. So I totally understand Arsenal fans being pissed off with him.
Of course. I just think people were over the top. And I think people are also forgetting that even in the 2 moments when he wasn't being a complete cunt, City were so much better than us. I think it's pathetic that people have put the loss down to one man. It's like people were saying, we're as good as them, but David Luiz. We ain't as good as them. They are streets and streets and streets ahead of us, whether you've got him or not.
Like people are looking at it as though if David Luiz didn't cost us them 2 goals, it would have been a 1-0 result. No. It would have been a fuck up. It could have been another fuck up. It would just so happen he was the cunt of a player on the day. 25.
The only thing I'll add is obviously like Leno played a huge part in that, but then with at least 4 huge saves in that 4 halves in the first half. But then imagine if they weren't 2-0 up at half time, how much pressure they would have put on in the second half, and how many attempts would Leno keep out in the second half. But then I felt that the team that was out there, we were never ever going to compete against them. I think it was going to just be a one-sided show. And again, I think similar to when they came to the Emirates, and in my head, I think that because Arteta was part of Arsenal, him and Pep had a deal just to not embarrass us even more in when they came to the Emirates. So they played out the second half. Again, I think like
just Pep to cut in, I was just going to say, just before you started speaking, I was going to say they stopped at 2-0 and they only got the third because we tried back when they went down to 10 minutes. They stopped after 47 minutes or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I haven't got much else. I'm not even going to ask for a minute of the match. I'm not going to go.
It's easy. It was only
Lennon.
No, we used to do the 3-2-1, but I'm not even going to go down that path. So
Leno. I think.
Now looking into the Brighton game, okay, another loss. Let's go back to the lineup formation. We did see a fair few changes in the against Brighton, Tony, in the lineup and the formation.
Yeah, I think the lineup was better, but that wasn't hard. It's a really tough time of year because, I say time of year just because of what's gone on, because I think everyone, despite him only playing about 8 games for us, would have Tierney over Kolasinac, but he played 90 minutes a couple of days before. He hadn't played since December, I think it was, where he got injured against West Ham. So he hadn't played for 7 months. He played 45 basically minutes at left back, 45 minutes at centre back. So even though I would say that he would be in our strongest team, I can understand Kolasinac being picked over him. The centre backs and the right back he picked strongest, and obviously Leno. Ceballos and Guendouzi just are never going to work in the middle because they both do the same thing, and it's pretty much nothing. I actually thought Guendouzi had a really good first half, but both of them will keep the ball quite a lot. They'll rat about a bit, but they're not good enough defensively. They don't affect the game at the top end of the pitch. And it's sort of like to have one of them players, you go, okay, that player's there just to keep the ball and keep us ticking over. I don't like it, but I understand it, and I can say, okay, I get what's going on. When you've got 2 of them, it's like, yeah, they keep the ball, but just give it to each other, and they're very rarely going to lose it. But then the front geezers are standing there scratching their head, thinking, like, can one of you give the ball to us? And then
give the ball to us.
And then he played Saka as part of the free. Who I thought done okay.
I thought Saka had a good game. I thought he had a good game.
But I mean, again, it was just, I wouldn't say he had a disciplined performance where you go, yeah, he should be playing in that midfield 3. I thought he used his energy and ran about and covered a lot of grass. But did he add immense amount of quality? Not really. There was only really when he came from the left, but that's probably where he should be playing anyway. Mm-hmm. Again, we saw Aubameyang shoehorned out to the left for Lacazette. Mm-hmm. The more I watch him, the less I think I'm ever going to see him score again, which is crazy because the last game before the lockdown, he scored the winner. But he doesn't look a threat. And I know I'm going to get pelters for that, but it just doesn't look. I don't think, Lacazette's going to score in a minute. He had a shot that I think it was Dunk, who's an excellent defender, blocked, but Lacazette just took that half a second too long. He had a header, which was a very good save by Matt Ryan, but I felt he could have done better. Don't get me wrong, the keeper's made a good save, and I know Addy's going to defend the keeper because he's a keeper, but I thought Lacazette could have done more. And then, apart from that, actually, it's another one there. I don't think Lacazette played bad. I'm not criticising his performance. I just don't feel like he's ever going to score. And then, once again, our only threat, which seems to be a permanent thing every time he plays, and then he gets dropped the next week, our only threat was give the ball to Pepe and hope, basically. And obviously, he's got the goal, but especially in the first half, all we seemed to do was give it to him, and he ran at Dan Burn or ran in behind Dan Burn. Didn't really get much support from Bellerin. I think Pepe's playing a little bit too wide, so Bellerin can't really overlap. And it's a mess. It's like
It's not much going on.
Parts don't fit together.
And I don't want to look. And I did hear a couple other Arsenal fans talking during the week that I can't remember who it was exactly now. Oh, who the fuck's? Oh, some cunt on fucking. And don't know. Robbie and the boys on Arsenal Fan TV, but some cunt was absolutely fucking into Arteta like no tomorrow. And I understood where he's coming from, but fuck me, because there wasn't much there, and you've type of just touched on it too, Tony. There wasn't much in tactics. Like there was I couldn't work out what we were trying to do.
I don't know who it was because I don't really watch anything from them, and I didn't mention it because I wanted to leave Addy something to speak about, and I know he kind of feels the same as me on it. And I'm just going to say this and then let him rattle off about it. Arteta's substitutions were beyond horrible. And I'm not going to elaborate because I'll let Addy do it. Otherwise, I'll be here all day and Addy won't get to speak.
Go, Addy.
Yeah, no, I just, again, I just want to understand what Arteta wants to do with this team, or what his ambitions are with this team, or what his plans are for the rest of the season. Is this just an experiment season and we're just forgetting about everything? If that's the case, then he should say it, and then I could understand everything. But I'm baffled the fact that Martinelli, Aubameyang should be number 9. Lacazette has tried. He not really scoring this season. He hasn't hit forms we saw like last season. He actually scored quite a few goals and key goals last season. And Nketiah, nice to have him, but he's not our main striker. Aubameyang is our number 9. He should be playing down the middle. Now, my problem is we have a lack of creativity. We don't really create clear-cut chances. Always half chances and everything like that. Or someone has to make something like what Pepe did. You have Ozil, you leave him on the bench. You have Martinelli that was on the bench against Man City and on the bench against Brighton. Like, even in that Man City match, or not even Man City, let's forget Man City. Brighton match, got 10 minutes left to go, 1-1. Like, all their players, you can see they're tired. Why wouldn't you put on Martinelli that's going to give you 150%, and then Ozil, even for that 10 minutes, and just say, cool, you guys just run your socks off in this 10 minutes. Like, that's all you have to do. Like, so we can just get a goal. Just put pressure on them, because like the Brighton manager went, you know what, cool, 4-4-2. Like, let's cause their centre back some trouble. But then Arteta's like, okay, no. He brought on Tierney, changed the formation to 5 at the back, and then put Tierney as a wing back, and it just everything just went wrong. And you're thinking, Arteta, do you actually want to win this game? Like, what's your thoughts? Like, and then I don't even know. Like, because honestly, I just, when I saw, I was thinking, okay, cool, substitutions are happening, and I saw Willock, who hasn't created nothing or scored nothing this season in the Premier League. And then I saw Tierney. I was shocked by Tierney. Then I saw who was the last sub? Nelson. And I was like, again, like, has he got an assist to his name or even a goal in the Premier League? No. And it's like, do you actually want to win this match? And I just started to question things like, what are your plans with this team? And like, I don't know whether it's a job too big for him. I just don't know. But he's starting to rub me the wrong way, because even Martin, let's notice, like, even before this lockdown, he didn't play Martinelli in that Olympiacos match. Martinelli came on in the second half of extra time in that Olympiacos match. It's, again, now we needed a goal, but then you're thinking, this is the kid that's what, a second top goal scorer after Aubameyang, but you don't want to play him. What is he not training correctly? Because for me, from what I've seen of Martinelli, the guy that loves football.
Well, he looks good. He looks the real deal. But I'm just going to pull you up quickly, because I agree with what you both say. The substitutions were like, what the actual fuck, right? But you look at the bench, okay? Martinelli, okay, we all agree he should have been one. And I'm saying, what, Ozil would have been another one, guys? Like,
I for what we had for our bench, Ozil
it was a terrible bench, like.
But 100%.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. The substitution was shit, but when you look at the bench, Martinelli and Ozil, the only two that didn't get a run. Which, okay, they should have come on. Martinez wasn't meant to come on for Leno. That was a thing that, goalkeeper gets injured, it happens.
Yeah.
So what we thinking? Nelson and Willock shouldn't have gone on.
No, and with me, I question his starting lineup, because if Martinelli did start, then I think you would have had Ozil, Lacazette on the bench. So Pepe started this time. Pepe didn't start against Man City, and then potentially you bringing on Lacazette as a threat, and then if you have to put Aubameyang out left later on, then that would have been better. But then obviously that wasn't the case this time. But it's just, I would have put on Ozil just for his creativity. Whether people hate him or not, or like him or not, he would have added something to the team that I don't think we created like anything from open play. Again,
look, we didn't really touch on a preview on the Brighton game we did on the City, so it is really hard to sit here and say, hey, he got the formation wrong, hey, he got the lineup wrong. But I agree, he did. I think he got the formation wrong. I think he got the fucking lineup wrong as well. But then I look at the depth of this squad and I think, well, Granite's out, so you've got to play Guendouzi. I would have probably started Ozil. I don't know what he's done there, but then has he been that great this season? Has he been great for
I
the last
don't.
2 seasons? So
I,
I get the
this
selection.
this Ozil debate annoys me more and more every week. I couldn't care less if he walked around the pitch with his hands in his pockets and his shorts around his knees. We're a better team when he plays. Like playing Joe Willock as a 10, and don't get me wrong, I think Joe Willock's got potential. Maybe not Arsenal potential, but there's a player in there somewhere. But we are not a better team when Joe Willock plays. And I don't care how much Ozil gets paid. Don't care how much people don't like his attitude. We're a football team. We want to win football matches. We are a better team when Mesut Ozil is playing football than when Ceballos and Guendouzi are playing together, or than when Willock's trying to play a 10 and be the link man. I know he didn't really play as a 10 versus City, but the gap between our midfield and our attackers or strike force, whatever you want to call them, was like half the pitch. It was ridiculous. I actually felt so sorry for Eddie. I thought he worked his bollocks off.
Oh, look, I thought Eddie, yeah, I agree. Eddie was good. But Ceballos and
This is where this Ozil debate is just getting stupid because people go, don't try it. Runs more than everyone else. He's on so much money. And he doesn't do enough to warrant 350k a week. Completely agree. Couldn't agree more. He doesn't do enough for 350k a week. But the answer to that is to not say sit on the bench and do nothing, because then he's doing even less for his 350k a week. I'd rather him be on the pitch and give a performance worth 120k a week rather than Willock's performance, who's worth probably 10k a week. And then people go, oh yeah, but he's earning 3 times what he's worth. I don't give a fuck. We are a better team when he plays. There's no doubt about it. And I think anyone that does doubt it is just purely from hate or thinking about wages. But if you look purely at a football aspect, he passes the ball to players in the same fucking colour shirt. I know, it's a phenomenon. No one else has ever thought of fucking doing it before, apparently. Oh, look, he's got an Arsenal badge on his chest. I'll pass the ball to him.
Okay, let's get off the Ozil for a minute, because, look, I agree with you. I don't give a fuck what he's on, right? I think he should have been in the starting line. What I'm getting at is something's fucking happened, right? There's been fallouts with, obviously, every manager we've fucking had since Wenger left, and then at the end of Wenger's run, he really wasn't getting chosen there. Like, his form has dropped massively, and he's fallen out with every fucking manager.
But the only thing, let me come in with that. I think under Arteta, he's played, or prior to this lockdown, he's played in every single game, and I think he played it's apart from Chelsea, where he had to come when he came off because of the sending off. He's played in every minute under Arteta. From what I was reading was that obviously because of his wife and his new child, he had concerns about the coronavirus and everything. So which is why he hadn't trained as much as the rest of the squad. So which is why Arteta, and this is the thing I hate about the media. Cool, they said Ozil wasn't in the squad, and then Arteta actually elaborated after the Man City match. It was like, oh no, he actually hasn't been training, and once he's up to 100%, or once he's fit enough to play, then he'll be in the squad. But then everybody took that as
okay. I'll wear that.
Or the media reported it as, oh my goodness, yeah, he's not.
Ozil and Arsenal get clicks at the end of the day.
Yes, that is, and that is it. But then, that's what he said. I don't really care what he does. I don't really care. He should be on the pitch again, similar to Martinelli. I don't even care if he fights with Arteta. He should be on the pitch. And I put this. I remember when Conte and Diego Costa. Conte did not say they had a huge falling out because Diego Costa wanted to go to China, and then they Chelsea blocked the move. But Conte didn't say, oh, you know what, because we've had a falling out, I'm not going to play you. Conte said, no, I'm going to win the league. Let me win the league first before I say, oh, I don't want to play you. And then obviously once they won the league, he texted him, oh, yeah, I don't want you part of my squad. And then he went to Atletico Madrid. But then Conte didn't, Conte didn't cut off his nose. Yeah. That's it, he played it.
But something stinks though, Addy. Something's not fucking right. Like, I don't know, right? I'm not going to sit here and say, I dislike Urs. I don't know the bloke from a bar of soap. I know him as a footballer that I see on the pitch. Yes, he's up and down. He has some... When he's on, he's fucking on. But he's on a lot less then he's off a lot less than he's fucking
even
on.
when he's shit, we're a better team.
Yeah, I know. I do agree with you there. Yeah.
This is my pure point. I forget everything else. Wages, whether he cost Arteta's mum, I don't care. We are there to win football matches, and we are a better team when he plays. For me, that's the be all and end all.
But under Arteta,
something's happened behind the scenes, lad. Something's not right.
I literally couldn't care less.
But under Arteta, I can actually say that his performances, Chelsea performance, Man United performance, even Leeds performance, he's actually performed really well under Arteta. Newcastle, he's been playing well under Arteta. So yes, I think under Emery, his performances dropped off really well. But then again, I go back to people and say, if Ozil was used to playing week in, week out, and even as a natural footballer, you playing week in, week out, you can find your form, you're in your stride and everything. But once you're in 1 week, out 1 week, in 1 week, out the next week, out that following week, you come in again, you only play 45 minutes like he was under Emery, you're never going to find your form. But then again, if we look at the back in the last season, when Ozil had to play because we lacked creativity and we went all the way to the Europa League final, Ozil was playing everything. Nobody had a problem with Ozil playing in all their matches. Valencia away, Napoli, all them matches. Nobody complained that Ozil played in them because we actually won. But then when you have that consistent run of games, you have no issue. But then again,
I hear what you're saying, but I don't want to break it to you, boys. It's no fucking. I'm not fucking Nostradamus here, but we're just not that good a fucking team, lads. I look at their fucking team, right? I look at Aubameyang, okay. I look at Pepe, okay. And I said this in the WhatsApp chat. Pepe, glimpses of fucking brilliance. I cannot remember the last time I said Lacazette had a good game. I look at that fucking midfield. Ceballos, Guendouzi. I have not seen a fucking week where Tony's type of said Guendouzi was fucking man of the match this week. I don't think I've said Guendouzi was man of the match. Ceballos, not that fucking good. Out on loan. Rob Holding, been out injured, come back. Fuck. Is he that good? Is he the real deal? We don't know. Mustafi has had more mistakes than fuck knows, and we just constantly hammer him. Kolasinac. Like, what I'm getting at is Saka. He's a bright light coming through. Bellerin, some like him, some don't. You know what I mean? Like, we're not that fucking good a team. And then you look at the bench, and it's not fucking much better.
Here's the issue with that. I agree with you. So what you do, you get our best player and play him out of position because we're not very good. That's what you do. Then you get our most gifted player and probably the best player we've had throughout their career. And I'm not saying just with us. And you leave him on the bench and you don't give him any minutes. Then you get our arguably most talented player or that can do something different in Pepe. And you give him 70 minutes 1 week. You don't play him the next and you drop him. Then you give him 25 minutes. So that's what you do as management. And then you get our best talent, our brightest talent, then you don't give them any minutes in 2 games because that's naturally how you manage a team. That shit.
Yeah, no. Right? I'm not saying the manager's doing great things. Like, I'm by all means, he's
but that's what I'm saying. When you're saying we're not a great team, and I agree, but then you have to use what you've got to the maximum. You don't put your best player out on the wing when he's a natural born number 9. You don't give Pepe minutes here and there when he's the only one that can do something a bit different. He might not always be good, but he's always fucking scary. You know, defenders don't want to play against him. You don't freeze out Ozil, and you don't say to Martinelli, "I'll watch this game from the bench." The only difference between me and Martinelli at the moment is he's allowed to go to the games.
Yeah. What I had dropped in the WhatsApp group was that if you look at Sheffield United, if you go player for player, realistically, Arsenal would actually have a better player in each position. But then what Sheffield United has done, and even Leicester, all them teams.
Addy blew up. I'm going to pull you up very quickly there. On what basis are you going like for like player? On what basis are we going from that?
Okay.
What
basis on more money?
I'd arguably say it's 11-0 with us and Sheffield United, maybe 10-1 with Dean Henderson, and a lot of people find that contentious because they like Leno more than I do.
Yeah.
So, and I've got mates that play for Sheffield United as well. So if I was going to be biased, obviously I'm biased as an Arsenal fan, but I also have friends that play for them. So I would say 10-1, 11-0 Arsenal.
10-1 on the basis of like international like appearances, or all like the highest level of competition and all that stuff. Realistically, Arsenal will have better players individually. But what Sheffield United have done and their management team, they've said, okay, we know what style of play will work for us. We know the strengths of our team. And we're going to maximize the strength of our team so that we can actually be as efficient and as strong and be able to compete against any team in this league, because we're going to play to our strengths. Like, cool, Arteta has had, 12, 13, 14 games with us now. He's had all these weeks of training with us now. I would say he should know what our strengths are. He should know what our weaknesses are. And then he should be saying, I am going to play to our strengths and trying to maximize the strength. Because again, another example, I'll say, Liverpool. Liverpool bought Mane, Salah. They knew their strengths were attacking, and then Klopp got that to a T. Then he said, you know what, okay, for me to push on and to even maximize our team, obviously he brought in Van Dijk and Alisson, just to say, cool, that's our complete package. Obviously, Arteta can't do that now, but that's what he should be planning to do in the future. But then now, at this moment now, he should say, these are the players I have, because you can't change anything now. These are the players I have. This is what I need to do to maximize our team and get them as efficient as possible so we can compete against any team. But Sheffield United are able to.
Well, it's lack of experience, really, isn't it? It's lack of experience with Arteta, and this was always going to be the problem. And I did mention old mate on whatever that fucking Arsenal fan TV. Look, and hats off, he's allowed to say whatever he likes. I don't care. I just don't know whether I agree with him. I understand his point. Arteta is inexperienced and probably he got a lot wrong on the Sheffield game, so I understand his anger and all that shit.
In defence
are we
going
to be pinned? It's Lee Gunner. That's who I'm talking about. It was Lee Gunner. I don't know the bloke from a bar of soap. I couldn't give a fucking rat's ass if he listens to this and says, you cunts are off your head. I don't care, okay? But he put something out there, and I was like, I don't know if I agree with that.
Just in defence of Arteta, because I think we've not been harsh. I'd say we've been honest, but it's been all negative. I actually think he does, like with Emery, he tried to play a way to basically stop the opposition rather than playing our football. I do think Arteta, barring the Man City game, where, as I said, I think he went for damage limitations, but it's hard to tell because of the injuries. I do think he does try and get us to play a way that suits us. It's our style with minor tweaks to depending on the opposition. I just think he got a hell of a lot wrong against Brighton with personnel and with the substitutes. And look, it's probably the first time I've said that since he's been in charge. So this isn't I hate Arteta. There's a lot of negatives. No, but you know what Twitter's like? Yeah. You have to be 100% positive or 100% negative. And after this, people go, oh, Tony hates Arteta, or you all hate Arteta. No, I don't. I really like Arteta, but I don't get this notion of you're not allowed to criticize someone when you think they've done something wrong. And other people might not think he's done anything wrong, and that's okay. We have differences of opinion. But this isn't I hate Arteta, I want Arteta out. I really like Arteta. I like the direction he's moving in. I just think he got almost every decision he made wrong in the Brighton game.
It's easy for us to sit here on the fence, right? We're looking, we're observers. We have our input. For me, I think Addy hit the nail on the head when he said, let us know what you're doing, okay? You haven't got the squad to do much for this season. And let's face it, the season's a write-off. If we get into your red blue, we might, you know what I mean? Like, it's not much else to look forward to. And I'm okay with that. But let us know what the direction is, okay? Are we looking at these younger players, the Sackers and whatnot? A signing of David Luiz is news breaking this morning that we are signing him for another 12 months. I'm okay with that as well. But moving forward, what is the plan? Is Socrates going? Is is what is the plan, lads? You know, Saliba's coming in next year. We're getting young players in. Are we in a rebuilding phase for 2-3 years? Because if that's the case, happy days, but let us know. Because I think the fans build their expectations up for a top 4 team, and we're not that.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's just that clarity. It's just that that let us just understand, because at times, I won't lie to you, at the start of the season, I was thinking, you know what, we can actually push for top 4. I'm really liking this squad. But then obviously as the season transpired and everything, like you see, no, nothing actually works with this team. It just really doesn't gel. And really how Arteta's, obviously we had all the experienced players and now all the youngsters are coming in now, and it's like, again, I don't mind, but then again, if I look at Arsene Wenger and how he brought in the youngsters, the Diabys, the Fabregases, the Flaminis, all these, the Van Persies, you always had good experienced players alongside them to put their arm around them in big matches, to lead by examples, to have good role models. Like, I'm sorry, but Saka, and I'll give him his props. Martinelli, I'll give him his props, because really and truly, who are they looking at? Like, yeah, Aubameyang is actually done. Aubameyang and Leno, for me, have actually stepped up to the plate this season. But other than that, there's no one in that dressing room that I will say, you know what, Martinelli will look up to this person, or even Saka will look up to this person, because they've had to do it by themselves, or just play freely because they're young. But that's the problem now. If you're bringing all these youngsters in, but you don't have the experience to go alongside with them, it's just gonna. I don't feel you're gonna get anywhere.
Well, that's why I said, like, and I'm not. I know a lot of people are going to be pissed if we sign a David Luiz for another 12 months. But for me, we need that little bit of experience to come in with these younger players. But then this is the mixed messages we're getting. Here's some Martinelli sitting on the fucking bench, but he's a young player who we all go, put him on.
That's my biggest problem, because for me, I think it's evident he's trying to build for the future, and he's got to keep some players in, because you can't just completely go and play 11 kids. But then leaving Martinelli out just kind of throws that theory out the window, because some people may say Saka, but they're wrong. Martinelli is the brightest of that lot by a stretch. Saka's done well, and I'm not trying to take it away. I think Saka's excellent, but Martinelli is the brightest. So that's what, if you say, you're going to play the kids, and then he's not even coming on as a sub, like he's getting 0 minutes. And the only explanation I could even imagine is that he sees Martinelli as a left-sided forward. Fair enough, I probably do too. I see him more there as a 9, and he wants the Aubameyang to play there. But when you're 1-1 against a team in fucking 17th that haven't won in 2020, and you're trying to win the game, bring him on. And also, when Pepe's the only day, like, to be honest, had at 79 minutes or whenever it was, and you said to me you had to take off Pepe or Aubameyang based on just that game, because that's the moment we're in, I would have taken Aubameyang off, because he played the 90 minutes on the Wednesday. He was stuck out left and didn't really want to be there again this game, like against Brighton. Wasn't really involved in the game too much. Like, didn't have a brilliant game. And you know Pepe's always dangerous. Their left back's on a yellow card. Pepe's already scored. And then you go, okay, I wouldn't have taken Aubameyang off. But if you're asking me which one of the two, I would have done that and bring Martinelli on rather than take Pepe off and bring Nelson on. And that's nothing against Nelson, nothing against Aubameyang.
It's just at the moment of the game. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And the other thing that kind of half pisses me off about the youth thing is that they've extended Smith Rowe's loan. For me, the order of our young talent goes Martinelli, Saka, Smith Rowe. And if you are going to build and you want to build this young team going forward, we had the option to call him back, because technically the loan ran till the end of May, and that's obviously been and gone. So bring him on and bring him in and integrate into the squad that he's obviously going to be part of. So for me, it's just baffling, because his teams look like he's building for the future and getting these lads all playing together and knowing each other and knowing how the Premier League works. And then for me, my opinion, he leaves 2 of the top 3 out.
Yeah, it's fucking bizarre. It's bizarre. And that's what I think fans need, Tony. We need to know. Look, and Don't put your head in
I
the
guess,
sand.
sorry.
Arsenal need
I
to
was
tell
just
us.
going to say when Addy was speaking, he can't come out and say that. Like you'll just never hear a manager say that. Even when Fergie bang through the class of '92, he didn't say, "Oh, look, we've got this bunch of talented kids. We're going to fuck off all the old guys." Because how then do you go to the rumors are true and you go to Thomas Partey in the summer? You can't go if he's heard you say, "You know what? We're not too bothered about the next 2 years, but in 3 years our team's going to be fucking amazing because these young kids are going to have all the experience in the world." He's going to go, "Well, hang on, I'm 27. By in 2 years, if your plan works perfectly, if everything goes according to plan, I'm going to be 29 before my career starts again." No, because then if your plan goes wrong and is 1 or 2 years later, it doesn't happen at all. I've wasted my career. So no, I don't think you'd ever hear a manager come out and say that. Even Chelsea with their transfer ban, they said, look, we can't buy players, so we're going to give some of the young kids a go. But they didn't say, we're bombing off this season and letting the young kids learn. And then we saw as soon as they could spend money again, they went and fucking blown the bank everywhere.
Smashed it.
I was just gonna say quickly, because obviously my head when Martinelli didn't come on, I was just thinking a million different things. I was thinking, is there a clause in his contract that, or when we signed him, there was a clause saying that if Martinelli plays so and so amount of games, you have to give Ituano like 4 million or something like. Because obviously, in my head, I'm thinking, why would you not play the guy unless and he's not injured because he was there. So I was thinking, is there something in his contract that's actually keeping him away from the team, which is the reason why Arteta isn't playing him? Because obviously I've seen it before where players actually don't play. Like for example with Ospina at Napoli, they didn't actually play him again because if he made an extra appearance, Napoli had to sign him for a specific fee. So I don't even know. Is there a clause in his contract that stops him from playing this season? I have no clue.
He's played 14 games, so could be possibly. But
don't
14 Premier League games, 7 Europa League, 3 FA Cups, 2 EFL Cups, 26 games.
I mean, look, he's out for 3 months now, so there's no point.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying. That's fucking weird. It's weird.
Who would have thought Martinelli would play this many games? So imagine if Arsenal just threw that in there. Oh, cool. If he plays 30 games, you get another 5 million.
Mate, I don't know. But then again, where he come from, I think he was just appreciative. I could be wrong, but I'd imagine he'd be just happy to get a contract with Arsenal. I would think, he's not like it's not
him. It's not him. It's the club.
The club, yeah, true. Yeah, I don't know. Fuck knows.
Before we move on, Addy, Maupay at fault or not? And obviously, I'm directing at you because you're a keeper.
Maupay at fault because, and the only reason, I don't think Maupay intended to hurt.
So what's your punishment from? Look, it's obvious he's at fault. What's your punishment if you're the ref?
If I'm the ref, 100% yellow card. That would have been my first reaction. But then looking at the injury or what came after it, I would have given potentially a red. But definitely automatic yellow card. And it's solely because Leno, obviously everyone says 50-50 ball, go for it. If it's a 50-50 ball, obviously as a keeper, I'm taught stick your studs up to protect yourself. But then this wasn't a 50-50 ball. The ball was clearly in Leno's hand. Then Maupay jumped into him. And obviously once he jumped into him, you don't know how you're going to land, where you're going to land, because all your coordination is gone. So from my point of view, he's basically just taken him out after, similar to what happened to Debuchy, where Debuchy, was it against Stoke or something like that, where the ball was gone and then someone the player that pushed him over the Hoardings at the Emirates. Similar thing. It's definitely a foul, and Maupay actually wanted his intention was, okay, let me actually jump into him so I could push him out of the box. And for me, it's definitely a yellow card, at least minimum yellow card.
I agree with half of what you said and completely disagree with the other half. Yeah, he's jumped in a way to try and knock him out the box. As you said, a keeper should. I think I don't want to blame the injured, but I think Leno was a bit in the wrong because that ain't happening to Jens Lehmann. I can tell you that for free. If he does that to Lehmann, he's getting hurt because he's getting studs in the face, and we all know it. I think Leno was a little bit naive. I think it's a foul and maybe a yellow. And I said this at the time, and I think everyone in the WhatsApp group was against me, and I've not really been on Twitter, so I've not been there to argue. And I know most people disagree with me, and also I've looked at the timings. Like, as the ball's landing in Leno's hand, Maupay leaves the floor, he jumps. Obviously, that is it's less than like a quarter of a second. But I don't think he was trying to get, I don't think he had a chance of getting the ball, but it did stand up on the turf a little bit. I think his pure intention was to knock him out of the box, and it's an unfortunate injury. But for me, when I see people saying red, I'm just like, I just can't see it because do you know what? If that happened and Leno doesn't get injured, the ref doesn't even give a foul.
No, I was going to say he's fucking lucky he doesn't get a foul.
Mate.
No, I think it definitely is a foul, but I just think people are. Do you know what I mean? If Leno doesn't get injured, the ref waves advantage. No one gives a shit about it. It's never mentioned.
Well, he might have got a yellow, but
No. I think if Leno doesn't get injured, well, he didn't get a yellow anyway. He got nothing.
Yeah,
Which,
he got nothing.
as I said, to me, it's definitely a foul. It's borderline yellow. I think it's one of them. For me, if it's given, there's no real complaints if it's given. But I just think it's another thing people are going so over the top about.
And they're going to go over the top because we got our ass whooped in a week by City 3-0 and fucking David Luiz fucked the show up. That's fucking pissed every cunt off. We come in the Brighton, now we go up. We look like getting a win. Then they level with us and then fucking boom, get a late goal and it's like, fuck! And then...
No, but I mean, people are going mad about it instantly. For me, I think... No, but people are going mad about it instantly, and the game's still nil this time. I think for me, we've been so used to getting kicked off the park and going to places like Stoke where it was okay to foul, well, seen as okay to foul us, and we were so defensive about it, and rightly so. And when you get instances like fucking Shawcross or Martin Taylor, that now and look, Brighton were there to kick us off the park. There's no two ways about it. Bissouma should have been sent to prison, let alone get booked.
Oh my gosh, they ain't get me started. Man.
Yeah, like that annoyed me. Bissouma annoys me a million times more than what Maupay done. But I just think Arsenal fans have got our backs against the wall so much that we're so used to being kicked that anytime someone gets hurt, like there was another, I can't remember who it was. There was another tackle in the game, and I think it was a foul. I can't remember exactly. And again, I was in the WhatsApp group, and people are going, like, "What the fuck? How's this not a red card? How's this not this? How's this not this?" And I'm sitting there watching, thinking, "Yeah, it's a foul." Like, maybe a yellow on one of them days, but people are like trying to get the guy deported. Like, I'm just like, I think people are going so over the top about things, and I don't know if inferiority complex is the right word, but just something we're so used to happening, and we're trying to like fight against it so much that we're just irrational.
Okay, let's move on, boys, because we've got some questions to get through. But quickly, before we leave the Brighton game, Martinez, he come on. Thoughts? And I'll go to you, Addy. You are a keeper, so your thoughts on his performance?
To be fair, first made a great save as soon as he came on from Moy, I think it was, from their corner. He's an interesting one. He's a good keeper when he's focused, but I wouldn't rely on him. I think obviously I've heard reports that we might be getting Joe Hart. I don't even know. I think potentially I might keep Martinez, but he needs to be on. He needs to be switched on because he does have the ability. I remember the Leeds match. He played really well in the Leeds match at home. He made some big saves. So he has the ability, but he's one that switches off. Because again, I saw the Brighton match. Sorry, not Brighton, the Brentford friendly, and all the goals he conceded, all the goals, and he made. I was thinking his positioning for quite a few of them weren't really good. So yeah, that's the only thing I'll say.
Tony?
I'm not his biggest fan. To be honest, he kicks the ball much better than Leno, so that's nice. But that sounded sarcastic. It is actually nice that when he clips
Yeah.
the fullback, you know.
Just the way you said it. Oh, yeah. Did sound sarcastic.
But no, I thought he played really well. Couldn't have done anything with the goals. Kicked the ball well. I think the save he made that Addy mentioned, I couldn't remember who it was from. If it is from Moy, I can't remember.
Good save. Yeah,
I think considering the situation in the game where he'd been on the pitch however many seconds, like that's verging on world class for that situation. I'm not saying it's a world class save, but when you're not warm, because obviously keepers don't warm up, you've come on, you've barely touched the ball. I think that's verging on world class. I don't think he could have done anything with anything. I mean, neither of the goals are his fault. Yeah, I'm not his biggest fan because, as Addy said, I think he switches off a lot. And look, for the sake of, we've only got 6 weeks left. Obviously, we know Leno now is going to be back for the start of the season, and it's not going to be the year or so that we all thought it would be. So, it's not ideal, but I'm happy for him to be there for 6 weeks or whatever and finish the season. If we was in second and chasing a title, would I be saying the same thing? Probably not. But we're not. As we know, these results don't really mean anything. So it is what it is. What I am hoping he doesn't do, and I don't think he will. Obviously, he likes playing second choice keeper in the cup competitions. If Matt Macy's playing against Sheffield United on the weekend, I'm not watching.
You know what?
You might as well put Peter Crouch in goal. He's a footballer because he is tall. That is it. Like, if he was the same height as Leno, he'd work in Asda. Like,
I was going to say the same thing. I was honestly going to say the same thing when you finished that. But I just pray that Matt Macey doesn't go, because Matt Macey is not a good goalkeeper. And even I think Matt Macey's only at the club because of the quota, the England quota. That's the only reason why Matt Macey's at the club.
I've told this story before, but I'm gonna tell it again because it still winds me up. He was on loan at Luton in League Two. They didn't go up through the playoffs because he made definitely one, maybe two mistakes in the playoffs. The next season they didn't have him, they went up. And then Norwich, who were in the Championship, were about to sign him. They rang the Luton manager and said, like, what do you think? Is he enough for us? Like, we're trying to get playoffs, I think was their aim in the Championship. Luton manager said, do not go anywhere near him. Like, leave him the fuck alone. Mm-hmm. They got Tim Krul. They won the league. They come up. Matt Macey was in League One. I can't remember who he went to. Someone like Oldham or some nonsense. And had another nothing. Like, the team didn't try to sign him.
Rotherham.
Rotherham.
Yeah,
no, Rotherham. Oh, yeah, it might have been, yeah. But it is a top Championship team tried to sign him, and they rang the team he was at this year before, and they was like they have no loyalty to this team. The Luton didn't need to do Norwich a favour, but they told them no, like just no.
Well, there you go, huh? And he manages to find his way at Arsenal. Okay,
he's 7 foot tall.
Let's go. Sandeep, he says, our season was over when we got kicked out of Europa. Now that we are back in action, I feel we are playing like a mid-table team. Hopefully it helps us next season if we do not have Europa. Thoughts about our chances in the FA Cup?
Who knows? I mean, look, I think Sheffield United have looked really, barring us, they've probably been the worst team compared to expectation since we've been back. Like Norwich were obviously trash, but it's Norwich. They're bottom of the league with about 10 points. You can't expect it. But Sheffield United, obviously, they came back, Villa away, drew, didn't score. Well, it did, but it didn't count. Then they've come and lost 3-0 away at Newcastle. Like, no one concedes 3 goals to Newcastle. And then they've got Man United tomorrow, and you'd expect the United win. So it's a battle of the two teams that have most underperformed. And then if you beat them, which who knows what would you say, 50-50, whatever it is, you beat them, you get another couple of weeks, you might find your form, and you might get one, like I don't even know who's left in the FA Cup, but you might get one of the easier draws, and then you're in a semi-final on a neutral ground somewhere. I don't know where they're going to be played yet. I don't know if they are keeping to Wembley. And you never know then, especially if it is played at Wembley. Like, the fact is, we played there more than most others. So it kind of gives you a bit more of a chance. I'm not sitting here saying we're definitely going to win it, but I've seen a lot of fucking stranger things happen. But then it's us, so we probably lose fucking 5-0 to Sheffield United.
Just look, and I know we all love football. But thoughts on since football's been back the last 2 weeks or 2 games that you've seen the 2 weeks of games, I don't think, and I'm going to get slated here by football fans, is it me coming back to football, or is football just been fucking very boring? Like, I don't think.
It's a different sport. It's a different sport without the fans.
Hey?
It's a different sport without the fans. It's not. You're watching a different product.
It just seems boring. Like, have you guys got the crowd noises on?
Yeah, we got the crowd noises. I've got the crowd noises on, but with me, I honestly don't watch anything now. Even the Arsenal match, I found it hard to watch. But I don't actually watch football like before. Before I used to watch everything, whether it's Spanish.
Don't get me wrong, I'm still watching. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I'm not watching that. But I'm watching, like, I watched Tottenham West Ham this morning, and look, I'm doing other things, and I'm like, I'm not glued to it because I'm thinking, I don't know. It's just since it's come back, I haven't found an entertaining game either. Even Man City, they smashed someone yesterday, and I was like,
Burnley.
Yeah, but it depends what you like, because for me 5-0 are never, unless it's Arsenal and I get personal enjoyment out of it. I don't like one-sided games. Look, I've watched every game apart from Chelsea, Villa, and Sheffield United against Newcastle because I was out. But it's not the same. It's a different product. Like, you see all these posts, football's back. Football isn't back. This is some diluted bullshit version of the same of a sport with the same rules. Like, it's no one. I don't think anyone's enjoying it. It's something that has to be done. Look, I said when this all started, give Liverpool the title and call it off, and I still think that's the same. And I understand why they couldn't, and the relegation places and whatnot needed to be settled. But like, the players just ain't fit. And I've got mates who play in the Championship who are also they're playing. I've also got mates in League One who aren't playing, and the mates that play in the Championship are telling me, like, they ain't ready. No one's ready, but they're just being forced to play, and it's going on.
Well,
like,
even
the players don't want to be there.
Great,
fans ain't there. No, it's nonsense.
The quality of football's not even there. Like, okay, I'll watch the fucking A-League, but like, Jesus, it's not there, mate. It's hard. It's hard. MWA Gunner, what do you think the main factor is that caused Theo's drop before lockdown to after? I'd say Granit's injury.
So wait, what did you say? What was the question? Because what I thought I heard you say doesn't make sense.
No. So I'm just rereading it again. What do you think the main factor is that's caused Theo's drop?
Theo, Theo,
drop from before lockdown to after. I'd say Jacques is in.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm opening Twitter because you must be wrong.
It fucking says Theo. I'm fucking like looking Theo. Fuck it. I'm not reading the cunt. Don't worry about it. Move on.
Theo. Do you have a Theo?
He's thinking. No, I'm thinking he's thinking another player. Somebody's dropped. I'll wait for fucking Professor Tony to fucking read it.
Read it. I don't know what he's on about.
Oh, yeah. So is this an apology for me or what?
I didn't say. Well, I apologise for it.
I don't know. Fucking MWA, sort your shit out. Sort your shit out, buddy. Sort your fucking shit out. MWA Gunner says, Mustafi and probably Louise have a year left, so what the fuck do we do in the summer? What type of CB do you guys look for? Addy?
So obviously we're getting Saliba. Obviously there's talks of Moncano. To be fair, I was reading a thread of the different types of centre backs that we could go for. Obviously, someone powerful, obviously with pace and a ball playing centre back. Obviously, Mari signed, from what I'm reading, he signed a 4-year contract. So obviously, I'm assuming he's going to be in plans in Arteta's plans for the future. So we'll with Luis signing as well, are we going to do a deal for Upamecano? If we do, then obviously that will be the end of Holding and Socrates, and potentially Chambers.
I don't know if you've seen it, but Ornstein said that we're willing to listen to offers for Socrates and Holding.
For Holding as well, okay. I think maybe I did see that. I think I saw Socrates, but Holding as well. I'm surprised about Holding. But no, said it. But obviously, Upamecano will be my first choice.
How much of a chance do we give Holding? But then, what's the English fucking player thing too? If he goes,
but we'll do what we've done this season. The homegrown quota doesn't matter because we'll do what we've done this season and name a reduced squad.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
But,
also, Saliba obviously counts as home. Well, no, he won't. He will in 2 years. But it doesn't matter. We didn't make the quota this year. We just named all the young boys in the squad that didn't need to be named. And a couple of them will be over 21 now anyway, so they'll have to count. So, if they're under 21, you don't have to announce them, but we don't have to register them, but we did to get the English quota.
Yeah.
When they turn over 21, which I think a couple do, then we have to name them anyway. So it doesn't really make much difference.
Because we all thought when we signed him that it was for that purpose, wasn't it? It's been 3 years now, isn't it? 3 seasons.
What, Holding? 4, isn't it?
4, yeah.
Yeah, right. There you go. Yeah, so how much of a chance do you give the bloke?
I think he's been unfortunate because of the injury. I think that first season under Arsene, he was amazing. But then when the second season,
his injury didn't help.
Yeah, it didn't help. I thought it was a little bit complacent from that first season's success to thinking that, you know what, I'm in the team now, and it's okay. But I think he either has to go back to the basics and slowly build his game. But again, you're gonna have to play him to get up there, because I think even under last season under Emery, when he had that run of games, I think he was a big miss. When he got injured at United, I think he was a real big miss when he got injured, because he got into that run of games and he was consistent and everything like that. But
what's his market value worth, you reckon? Would you be happy? 20 mil?
20 mil, yeah. But it's the thing. If Liverpool can sell Solanke for what, 25 mil? 25. Yeah,
something.
but then with us, we're probably going to sell Holding for what, 15 mil, 10 mil.
10 mil.
Realistically, English centre back, we should be getting 35 mil for it. Realistically,
Chambers would be worth a few bob too, surely.
Again, he should be, but
for
us,
won't be.
When it comes to Arsenal, we just don't know how to sell players.
Okay.
No, sorry, to answer the question. Just to answer the question, I don't think we'll sign a centre back.
Okay, you think okay. Saliba coming in, so David Luiz, Socrates and Holding going for you?
Potentially, maybe only one of, but then he's got Mustafi, Chambers, which should be back or very close to because of the delayed start to the season. So you've got Mari, Chambers, Saliba, Luiz, Mustafi, and then maybe
the Greek god.
Oh no, I said I believe, but definitely one of him and Holding will go, and I just based that on both of them going. Oh yeah, and also I don't know if you meant Mavropanos, but I think he'll probably go. No, to be honest, I think he'll go. He will either go or he'll go on loan to a better quality of team, because obviously at the moment he's in the second division in Germany. But I think
he's carving it up too. You've seen him play.
I know they were loaded top team, not obviously Bayern Munich or Dortmund, but teams in and around 5th and 6th for trying to sign him. So he's obviously doing something right.
I wouldn't have a clue. I'm just taking a piss. He had one game with us and fucked me dead, where I was like the Greek god, legend, this bloke. And then all downhill from there. Are we cursed? Yep. I can say that, I guess. Or have we just got a fucking shit team?
I
Does
think
it?
both.
Hey?
Both. Definitely both.
Definitely.
We are cursed. Yeah, but shit.
Does their chance in the FA Cup depend on Man City?
It needs someone to beat Man City. But, well, it could do because would anyone be really well and truly surprised if we go and lose to Sheffield United? Because I wouldn't.
No.
So you can say, does it depend on Man City? But more, does it depend on us beating other teams first? But 100%, someone that isn't us needs to beat City to give us a chance. I don't know the draw, but you could see United have beat City this season. Chelsea have ran them close. If one of them two teams can knock out City, I believe we can beat them on a United or Chelsea on a one-off game. But we ain't beating City.
Sheffield, they're a better team than us, Sheffield United. So the ladder says. Crystal Palace are better than us too. Fuck me, I didn't know. When them sneaky cunts sneak up ladder. What else we got? I think we'll still make Europa League. I'm like, glad somebody does. Well, he explained Spurs everything, but do you think criticism is a bit reactionary? Arteta has had 3 months of games, 3 PL losses, although Brighton may have been his fault. He has a bit squad and worse with all injuries. He's been forced to change all the time because of red cards from Luiz, Aubameyang injuries, Granit, Torreira, and so on. Well, it's been unlucky. Like, fuck. Had a run of injuries. And I think we missed Granit against Brighton, but I'm not going to sit here and say we would have won because I don't know with this team anymore. I don't know if we could beat the fucking Blind Society. So...
They're just like MWA's in the WhatsApp group and he can type usually. What the fuck was he doing when he was typing these questions? Because you just said Disper and I didn't want to dig you out because you wasn't wrong last time. So I've opened it again. Like he clearly means despite. But what were you doing when you were typing?
I don't know. Theo come up. You must have been on the piss or something. This was 2 days ago. Probably on the piss. FPL Canada, the squad is a mid-table quality at best. We probably have a very limited transfer fund, which is, I'd love to know what that is, to be honest. Inevitably, the Stars will jump ship except Ozil. On the plus side, Arteta is quality young coach who is capable of bringing through young talent. It'll be a few seasons before we're back.
If we don't spend this summer, we're fucked.
I don't
care how good he is and how good the young talent is. Everyone else is going to spend. If you stand still in this game, you go backwards.
Yeah, this is the fact that because they've relaxed financial fair play this season. Yeah, we have to spend. We have to spend.
Josh says, can Saka be the man we've missed in the midfield? Haven't had a goal-scoring midfielder since Ramsey left. No, for you.
No. I don't know what this notion of like Saka's been great mainly as a left back, but also as a left winger. The guy has 0 ZERO Premier League goals. Like, where's this notion of a goal scorer coming from? We have high hopes for the kid, and I think he's going to be excellent. But his main asset for me is his delivery. So this is why I don't like him in the middle of the pitch, because you can't cross the ball from there, and that's his strength. And even during that game, there was one chance where I can't remember exactly what happened, but he crossed it and it led to a chance around the edge of the box. Like,
was it not the Lacazette chance?
The header.
Yeah, the header. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but I didn't want to make a cunt of myself. So I'm comparing him to Ram. Look, he's young and maybe he'll learn, but I don't see the point in taking away what at the moment is. Look, either his pace or whatever you want to call it, pace, the way he beats men, or his delivery is one of his best assets. You put him in the middle and you take that away.
He had a good game against Brighton. Did he hit the bar?
think he played badly. I would like to see his heat map because I know he was meant to be in a midfield three. Don't think he was.
Yeah, I don't know.
I said as soon as the team was announced that basically the plan would be when we got the ball that he goes wide and Aubameyang tucks in.
Tucks in.
Yeah, and that half works for him because it gets him back out on the left. But then if you're talking about him being a goal scorer, he can't do that out from the left or a goal scoring midfielder. So, I mean, for me, no, definitely not. And I think our way forward is probably going to be a 3-man midfield rather than a 10. But I hope and pray that if Smith Rowe turns out to be as good as, but I believe he's going to be, he becomes that man that's the third man that's got a bit of the license to go forward. But I just think if you trying to use Saka in that position, you're taking away a hell of a lot of what's good about Saka.
I think, to be fair, if we want a Ramsey, you're not going to find that in our team. The only player that I've actually said that for me is a like-for-like Ramsey replacement is Donny van der Beek. He's the only one. He's the only one that hasn't been sold yet to anywhere from that Ajax squad. So to be fair, I don't know who's going to bid for him, but if you want a goal scoring midfielder, that would be the boy I will get straight away.
Do you boys get that league in where you are? Can you watch it?
What Dutch league?
Yeah,
I
the
can't say
Dutch
I've never
league.
watched the game, but it's probably available if I wanted to.
I think. But it's they've cancelled it. They've cancelled the Dutch league.
Yeah, I know they've cancelled now, but is there an option for you to watch it though? Usually week in week out, or not really? Like Sky Sports or somebody? Or?
Yeah, I think it's on Sky. Is it not on Sky Sports? I thought they
I mean, the thing is, everything here is on if we can't get it on TV, it's pretty much on a betting website anyway. So you're able to watch it. I choose not to, and I don't. But I'm pretty sure that if I wanted to, that I will. Well, I know if I wanted to, I could watch it.
You could find it. Yeah, no, I don't see it here. That's all. I'd like to watch it. I don't know this bloke's name. It's @common_name. So he says, what does Guendouzi offer us in the midfield apart from playing sideways passes and running around like a headless chicken? I think I've been saying that since we fucking signed Guendouzi. So you're only echoing my thoughts. Tony's not a fan of him. I don't know. I don't know what he offers us. I really don't know.
I remember saying after his third game, he done really well against Chelsea. Debut was Man City, he done really well. Done really well Chelsea away, and then the third game was West Ham at home. And I remember saying, I don't really see it. And I got absolutely hammered. And worryingly, 2 years on, or whatever it is, it's nearly 2 years in August, I see it even less. No, that's not fair. There's a player in there. Someone needs to decide what the fuck his job is going to be and make him do it. Because I don't think he's had that instruction either. Because if someone's tried to make him a Xavi Alonso type of player, I don't think he's got it in him, and I don't think that'd be the right option. But whatever type of player they've got to try and make him, they need to be disciplined enough to make him do that. And if he doesn't, drop him, sub him off, whatever. Because at the moment, he's just playing his natural game, and it looks like he's been unguided, and he's just never going to improve like that.
Well, I have to put that down to, and I know, but let's say I have to put it down to Sven. He was a Sven signing, was he? And then he left. So, and then Emery was probably going to guide him a little bit, but then he got sacked. I'm not saying that
Emery had a year and a half with him.
Yeah, but that's what I'm getting at is now things have changed. Does Guendouzi suit what's changing at the club?
No. Guendouzi doesn't suit any position for any team in the world. This is the problem. Someone needs to decide a position for him, or a role, not a position. He's a centre midfielder. They need to decide a role for him and be tough enough on him that if he ain't doing it, drop him, even if he's playing well, but he ain't doing what you want him to do. Because the long term, he needs to find a role. Otherwise, he's not going to go anywhere. And it's a shame because he has the potential to go a long way. But I think he's gone backwards since we signed him.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's ever offered much. I was just trying to play a bit of devil's advocate and think, well, maybe things have changed a little bit up top, and Guendouzi's just slipped through the gaps. I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. Old mate says that common name is Bellerin good enough to play the role of inverted fullback. Maitland-Niles was playing that role so well. Should we go back to him?
I think it just all depends, because I think all depends on who Arteta feels will bomb on more. Obviously with Maitland-Niles, we had either Kolasinac as the powerful wing back. So potentially if Tierney goes in there, then potentially he could do Bellerin. But Bellerin likes to go forward as well. So similar to what he did against Chelsea. But maybe that he just went forward because it was 2-1 and we just needed to get a goal. But I don't know whether he would want to do that with Bellerin, but you never know. It could be a possibility. But then obviously Suarez is going to come in now at right back. So again, I think we gave him a 4-year contract. So this is going to be. It'll be interesting to see how Arteta does this between Suarez and Bellerin. I don't think Ainsley Maitland-Niles will play it right back again. Also,
I'm happy to leave right back alone for a minute. To be honest, I think we've got.
No, but to be fair, the guy who's asked the question is right, and I think Addy's kind of sat on the fence and not answered the question. The question was, is Ainsley Maitland-Niles better as an inverted fullback? Yes, and yes. The guy's a centre midfielder. Inverted fullback essentially plays centre midfield. Like, there's parts of that role that Bellerin is, parts of a right back, Bellerin is much better at. I'm not disputing that. But if you're talking about an inverted fullback, which is what the question asked, Ainsley is 5 or so levels above him, because it basically involves him playing his natural position, and Hector isn't anywhere near a centre midfielder. So I agree. I also do agree with Addy, though. I don't think we'll see Ainsley play right back for us again. But in answer to the actual question, and I know he did play an inverted fullback the other day, and that role, if you look at our squad, that role has Ainsley written all over it. And he was doing it excellently before he seemingly got dropped for no reason. Obviously, we're led to believe it's because he said he doesn't want to play there anymore. But he was playing unreal there. And I think that role is almost made for him. I can't even think of too many players like in the league are more made for an inverted right back role than him, because he's rapid so he can recover. He's naturally a centre midfielder. He's good on the ball. He can switch off a bit. He can get forward. He can cross. He's not as good defensively as he should be, but obviously when you're playing in an inverted fullback or a fullback that tucks in, you're looking for more their qualities on the ball than their qualities off it. And I don't think there's too many that can do that job better, to be honest.
Okay, at common name, and I'm just going to go and boil the kettle and make a coffee and let Tony tackle this, because I've already agreed with him, and if old mates listen this long, he will probably have turned off, because Ozil has had his problems with 3 managers now, Emery, Freddie and Arteta. Will Mr. Tony still defend him? Mic drop.
This isn't about Ozil, and this is the problem I find with our fan base. They're so both in and out. So they're not in and out. I don't know if that's the right term. That's the Wenger term, not the Ozil term. But they're so content, like they're so, I don't know, strong with either defending Ozil or being against Ozil. This has nothing to do with Mesut Ozil. It has everything to do with Arsenal, the team on the pitch. And I'm not even going to say club, because he might be bad for the club because of his wages and stuff. But if you're trying to win football matches and you're setting the idea that he's going to be here at least another year now because of his wages, we are a better football team when he is on the pitch. Forget every other outside influence. He doesn't track back. He doesn't perform in big away games. Well, guess what? Neither do we as a club. We've won. The last one we won was in 2015, January 2015, in the freezing cold at Man City away. So And he played, I think. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure he did. So let's get this idea of, it's only everyone else is a 10 out of 10, but let's focus on Ozil. I'm not defending Ozil in any way. I couldn't care less what the name is on the back of the shirt. The guy who wears number 10 currently, we are a better team when he plays. All the rest of it, I don't care. Because when I pay my money previously, or now when I'm watching it on TV, I want to see a good Arsenal team or an Arsenal team with a chance of winning. I believe we are better when he plays, and I believe we have more chance of winning when he plays. For me, that is the end of the conversation. I am not paying his wages. I ain't in the room when he's arguing with people, and I ain't on the training ground when people are guessing that he's not trying. And it is guessing because all of Arsenal's training sessions are closed. So when you see the press saying, oh, he's not putting it in, or people on podcasts saying, oh, there's definitely something wrong, good guess. Maybe there is, but I ain't in the room, so I don't care. I'm not in the middle of that argument. I'm not seeing if someone's throwing their tea out the window or at someone. I do not care. We are a better team when he plays, so I want him to play. And the moment we stop being a better team within him, with him in it, I don't want him to play anymore. It's as simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's it. At clockn_talk to get your questions in. That's all of them. Boys, we've got 2 games coming up before we do another podcast because we are a weekly show now, not for, time. I'm time poor, so I'm a busy man. So basically, this is the time we record. Southampton and then Sheffield United coming up. Both better teams than us. So, Tony, what's your thoughts leading up to Southampton?
I mean, Granit's back training, and he usually is the fittest player in our squad. So if he's back training, I'd imagine he'd be ready to play. Depending, and it's a weird one because he didn't play in one of the warm-up games, and he only played 45 minutes in the other. So maybe he also isn't fit as well as being injured, like as physically fit as well as getting injured. But you'd imagine if he's back training, he's ready to play. So I'd imagine he would come in. Centre back, obviously Socrates back. I was going to say when we was talking about Holding earlier, I would play him in every game from now on as an audition. Like, you want to stay at this club? We don't really give a fuck about the season now. We're not going to do much. So here's your go and prove that you deserve to be here. Look, I don't know. I think Southampton looked quite good the other day. Their home form, I don't think is too good. I think they're actually better on the road than they are at home, but we don't know if that matters anymore because if they were feeling pressure from their fans, well, that's gone. Whatever it is. So I don't know. I mean, I just want to see a free-flowing team that tries to play football and tries to win the game. And I want the players to look like they're having fun. Even this isn't singling out Aubameyang, but he's the main one that comes to mind. Like, the camera zooms in on him and he just looks like...
Just doesn't look interested, does he?
Yeah,
that's not him. And I know a lot. It's so easy to say, it's because he wants out, but I don't think he's down in tools because it's like he's trying but not enjoying it, and that is like not him. I just want the players to go and enjoy themselves.
Let's face it, it's been a season from hell though. Like, okay, we've come into the Premier League with great ambitions. Let's go. We're a top 4, 5, 6 team. Let's get there, right? Boom, 10th. Coronavirus. Boom, 3 months off or whatnot. Mate, how the fuck does, and I'm not making excuses, but it's got to be emotionally hard and emotionally tough on players to get ready again, especially when you're in 10th. But this is
but this is the point. And you've got to, it's hard to be excited because of what's gone on, but this is where you have to make them enjoy their football then, because they've got nothing else to look forward to. Fighting for anything. So then you say to someone like Pepe, look, this is the way I want you to play, but within that, go and express yourself, because to be honest, Pepe without expressing himself is no longer a footballer. And you say to Aubameyang, look, you want to look flashy, so this is the job we want you to do. We want you to track back. We want you to work your bollocks off. But when you get the ball, if you want to tuck inside, because that's beneficial to the team as well, and if you want to have a little bit of a creative license and do your little flashy tricks, go ahead, son. Like, tell the young boys you're playing with no pressure. Like, this is the role you do, but also go and enjoy yourself. Because I'm accepting we're not really doing anything, we're not playing for anything, I just now want to see the players within a system, I'm not saying they can go just saying, "Oh, go and enjoy yourself," and they can put their boots on the wrong feet and have a complete laugh. Like within this certain system, you know what? The reins are off. We've got no expectations. We're not playing for anything. Go and show me what you can do.
Mm-hmm. Addy, and also Addy, touch on Sheffield United FA Cup game.
You know what? I think Sheffield United might play a weakened squad for that, solely because of.
I think tomorrow is massive for that. I think if they lose to United, they won't, because they'll think the top four's gone.
Okay. Okay.
I think tomorrow is huge, and I think they will lose to United. I was half thinking that earlier in the week that they might go weaker because they have in the cup so far. But if they lose tomorrow, then I think they're like quite a few points off, especially if Chelsea win. And then it's like, what are you saving players for?
Yeah, they're on 44 points, so tomorrow's a big game for them. So Chelsea in fourth on 51 points. So yeah, you're spot on.
So I think that's what's going to be it. And to be fair, I think Arteta probably play a strong team against Sheffield United. I think Arteta, he has to play the strongest.
But then what's a strong team?
Strongest team. Unfortunately, Martinelli's out, but Aubameyang needs to start down the middle, and Saka has to play on the left. For me, that is it. And also on the 10, Saka can play out there. Just put him out there and just let him do what he needs to do out there. I think that's all we need to do. We don't need to.
So when Southampton, Sheffield United, it's obviously two similar teams. Are we going to go two up the front with Lacazette, Aubameyang?
No. 4-2-3-1. Go back.
I don't think we'll ever see I don't think we'll ever see him play two up front.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless he goes to a 5 at the back, but I thought the funny thing is I was thinking maybe he might do that against City. Maybe he might switch it up against City. That's what I was thinking. He might just switch up against City and then go to a 5 at the back and then play counter-attacking football against City. But he didn't do that. So I don't think he'll play two up top.
Win-win for you?
Let me be optimistic. Draw win.
Draw win. Ooh, draw against Southampton.
Yeah, I think Danny Ings. If Mustafi plays, Danny Ings is gonna have a fun day. I think if Socrates can play, then I think he's back in training now. Socrates can play, then I'll rather have Socrates playing over Mustafi 100%.
I think we'll be talking this week again with 2 losses under our belt. I hate to say it, just not confident. All right, that's us. Happy boys. Anything else you want to add, Tony?
Not really.
Not really. Righto. I'll talk again next week.
We'll see. Next week is when the contract renewals are up, so you better get that wallet out, son.
How about you, Addy? We'll do it again next week.
We can do it again next week. I'm all good.
Right. Thank you everybody for listening, downloading, subscribing. Those on YouTube, iTunes, you'll have to resubscribe because it was a fuck up. Yes, we've had technical fuck ups the last 2 weeks. I'm going to sort out some live show stuff because I jumped on and there's like heaps of live shows, live people coming on it, and I'm like, somebody even said we had more than Nexus, so I thought, that's a fun plus. So, all righty, boys, thank you, and thank you everybody. Goodbye and good night. See you later.
See you later.